Okay, Mayuresh Joshi is with us. Mayuresh, any thoughts on the kind of run-up that we're seeing in a bunch of these stocks, Dishman, Pharma, Delta, Corp? I mean, it's just unabated.
Good afternoon, and one really needs to understand the core dynamics that these stocks are operating out of, both in terms of their core operating performance as well as expected earnings recovery. So largely, I think one really needs to be stock specific within these individual spaces that you have probably mentioned.
Fair. So, by any chance, do you have any thoughts on Dishman Pharma, Mayuresh?
Again, Neeraj, I think I have recommended and covered this a few times on a channel a few quarters back. But at this point of time, again, our take is that large cap pharma is something that you should probably be looking at on declines. Yes, there have been FDA issues, and the remediation and the remedial processes will take the better part of FY17. But largely, I think if you roll over to the next year and presume that a lot of the costs taken on the balance sheets, the upfront loading of the R&D expenses that they are incurring at this point of time, and couple that up with the huge pipeline that they've already got, I think the large cap pharma stocks look like a more prospective bets to us from a long-term perspective. So I think large cap pharma is something that we'll be looking at on declines.
All right, and very quickly, we have seen, Mayuresh, some activity come back into Reliance Industries and ONGC also in the session today. We haven't touched upon these names. Are oil and gas back on your radar? GAIL 2 is up about 3%.
So afternoon, Tanveer. Yes, I think with expectations of crude staying in a range for the better part of this year, our own sense is that OMCs appear to be a far better play from a risk-reward perspective. Yes, the stocks would have run up as well, assuming that the under-recoveries have gone down substantially, the working capital constraints have come down, the net debt levels have come down with cash flows improving. But the marketing margins, which have seen drastic improvement, can improve further as well. And that's a kicker for the stock going ahead. The other aspect also is the kind of capex that these guys are entailing at this point of time, which basically means that the kind of distillate yields and GRMs that one can expect over the next few years can be quite substantial because the complexities basically go up. So the earnings are expected to go up. The marketing margins that they currently enjoy on diesel and petrol at ₹1.70, ₹1.60, even if they marginally go up, I think the earnings per share goes up substantially. So I think would remain very constructive on OMCs as a pack.
Look at Balkrishna. It's now at 1015. It's up 11%, trading at new highs for itself. That's a big move on that one, 11.5% higher. Then look at Reliance Communications. It's arguably amongst the top gainers in the FNO space, doing very well for itself. RCOM should come up on your screen. And next up is a specialty chemicals company, Hykel. That one has done well. I think it's a Baba Kalyani Group company, and Hykel has just moved up quite strongly. Again, stock trading at new highs for itself, 219 or 220. Really good going. I know one stock is liquid out here, and that is Reliance Communication. Siddharth, you want to come in here?
Well, the stock has seen reduction, open interest, rollovers was also low. A lot of people have been rolling over their positions, loss-making positions, not profit-making positions. And in yesterday's volatility, might have forgotten to roll over the long positions, and stock has gone up by 10%. So certainly, even stock going up would be pinching a lot of people, at least in FNO segment. I'm not expecting continuation of rally. After this upside move, it again comes back to those base levels of 46, 47, 48. Don't expect huge upside after today.
Up 10% right now, doing very well. And okay, let's get across to hear out the SEBI chief.
And one non-agri product for allowing the options. As you know, if options are allowed and they are well run, they will be very helpful to the farmers, to the producers in their price protection and also in their hedging needs. So far as the members are concerned, the brokers are concerned, and under the earlier regime, there was no need for them to get registered with the regulator, but our rules require it. I am happy to say that the registration of the brokers has been conducted very smoothly, and we were able to introduce online registration of brokers, and that has also gone through well. So primarily our focus has been on good delivery, on warehousing, on ensuring that the risk management system is strengthened, and on strengthening and improving our surveillance system. Once we are confident that we are on the right path, I would like to inform you that SEBI will be happy to allow new products to be developed. SEBI will be also taking up with other regulators so that new players can come into the market. And we are also worried about one thing at this stage, that the ratio of business between one exchange and the other exchange, or amongst the three exchanges that are working, are not evenly balanced. So we are looking at areas how we can ensure that there is no undue risk created into the system by overwhelming amount of business being in one place. So whatever is required for this purpose, we will do that. And in order to advise us on all matters concerning the derivatives market, we have constituted an advisory committee headed by Professor Ramesh Chand of Niti Aayog. We do interact with the committee quite regularly, and going forward we will again be guided by those experts' advice and outside advice as and when needed. I'll stop at this stage, and I'll request my colleague Mr. Agrawal to say a few words. And would you also like to say a few things after that? And then after this...
This is a very interesting statement. UK Sinha saying that they are concerned with the unnatural division of volumes between the two exchanges, and I'm guessing he's probably referring to both the agri volumes that happen in NCDX vis-a-vis what happened in MCX, and then the non-agri volumes that happen in MCX, which are large compared to what the other exchanges are doing, which is essentially NCDX right now. And they are forming an advisory committee to try and figure out how to balance it out. Now, it's strange, I don't know how this will happen. That's like saying it's like punishing an exchange if I don't know whether they'll do it or no, but that's like trying to see that volumes get balanced out on both exchanges. I frankly don't know how can such measures be taken, but that's not music to the ears, quite frankly, if you are an MCX shareholder. Nevertheless, we'll talk more about this a bit later on the show as well, a detailed discussion. But right now, just that so many stocks are active, we need to get in closing strategies. We need to also get in what dealing rooms are saying in the session today. So quick checks from Darshan as well as Ajay about what our dealing rooms saying in the session today. Good afternoon, both of you. Quickly, Darshan, to you first.
See, just dial is something that dealers indicate that majority of the selling that had to happen is over. They see the dealers indicate that they see limited downside. Some of the HNIs are actively accumulating the counter. Next one is Tata Investment Corp. There is a buzz of a possible corporate announcement that could come in, and also if you're looking at it, holds investment in some of the Tata companies. So if you're looking at it, Tata companies are buzzing in trade. You're seeing Tata Communication up over 10%, Tata Steel is doing well. So this counter is something that dealers are actively talking about. And two counters are large value counters, MRF and Force Motors. Dealers indicate that they are very, very active among some of the HNIs. On every decline, these counters are being accumulated.
Thanks, Darshan, for giving us that insight from dealer desks. Ajay, what are you hearing from your sources?
Well, there are three sell ideas coming in right now. The market actually is slightly on the tenterhook, so watch out for these stocks. Reliance is one stock where dealers believe that there is selling coming in at higher levels, profit taking. The stock has moved higher as well in the last couple of days. Apart from that, IB Real is one stock which is up by 9%. The buzz on the street is that on 5th of October there could be a buyback announcement, so that's a BTST call coming in. Apart from that, IGL, that is a STBT call on the news which we broke. A lot of analysts have started working on it, that if gas is taken away from them and in favor of power and fertilizer companies, some amount of pressure could come on volumes front for companies like IGL. So that's a STBT trade coming in.
Thanks a lot to all of you. Let's get in those trades going as well. Kunal Bothra, to you first, your top closing strategy.
Well, M&M Finance is the other stock which I'm looking at, and I think the stock has just spiked in the last 10-15 minutes. Similar is the case with many of these pure stocks as well. Now, the good part is that it's broken on the closing basis, assuming it closes at 364.5 where it's trading. It's broken a series of multiple swing resistances at these levels. So a swing trade can be initiated over here for M&M Finance. That's a buy from my side. Target 385, stop loss of 355.
Okay, Siddharth, what about your strategy?
Well, I'll continue to short some of the large cap names. So Bajaj Auto is showing some sort of weakness in today's trading session. Yesterday, of course, like other stocks, this stock was weak. And we are seeing some formation of short positions, which says that downside should continue. Not a huge downside, but probably till 2720, 2730 odd zone Bajaj Auto can come.
Jay, what about your call?
Well, now I would like to recommend one more long position. I think Aurobindo Pharma Futures, that has been very strong since past series, and I think in today's trading session too is trading quite strong. I think on the upside the stock is quite likely to inch towards this previous monthly swing high, which comes to around 892. At current levels too, I think the traders has a good upside, at least as far as the short term is concerned. The minimum target comes to around 892. I think on the downside around 835 is now a very crucial support. So I think the risk here is also quite in favor of the bulls.
Just want to mark, one is Chola Investment. I think that stock has shot up. It's not, of course, as liquid, but Chola Investment is doing very well and now trading 5% higher. But the bigger mover is ENIL, 880. It's trading at new highs. Standard Disclosure, part of the group that owns the channel that you're watching as well. But ENIL was up in an active market, in a down market yesterday, and now at 880 is trading at new highs. Again, not as liquid, but doing well. Mayuresh, any idea that you would want to share? Any one stock idea just before we start wrapping up the market? Anything that you're recommending currently?
I mean, somebody who's close to your competition, I think TV Today is something that I'm probably preferring at this point of time, with a clear disclaimer that we might be holding this stock. A market leadership position on the Hindi channel, English channel number 2, but largely I think the kind of top line growth that we've probably seen over the past few quarters, I think we're expecting that to compound over the next few quarters. What this basically does on the bottom line is that the margins expand and the bottom line shows compounded growth as well. Valuations again, I think not too expensive at this point of time. So TV Today is something that I'll be probably liking on declines.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's start wrapping up the market. Day 2 of all that geopolitical tension that hit us in yesterday's session, and the markets have found their base, they found their calm, they've gathered themselves together, and you are looking at a net result of that reflecting on the screen on the index at 8600 being regained for the Nifty. We're well above 27,800 on the Sensex, but the real story lies with the bounce back in the high beta, the more volatile small caps and mid caps. So they lost the most in yesterday's session and they've gained the most today. But I'll talk about the large caps first before Neeraj wraps up the broader end of the market. The market breadth also, before anything else, I just want to highlight the market breadth. So a complete U-turn from yesterday's session, more advancing stocks to those declining. That reflects the underlying health of the market. It seems to be recovering, which is good. 1200, almost 1273 to the advancing side, with 272 odd onto the declining side. Aurobindo Pharma is a performer of the day, so 3.5% higher there. Bank of Baroda has done well. GAIL has performed as well. M&M has been a standout gainer too. Grasim, ONGC. I just want to mark how the oil and gas space has really supported the market today. GAIL, ONGC, Reliance Industries. That's a trend in the making. Reliance, of course, has petered off a bit, so at 1082 is just about 1% higher. But be mindful of the move given the weightage that oil and gas has on the index per se. And then you have some of the financials. It's not a blowout performance there, but few and far between. Select gainers in Bank of Baroda, Yes Bank, SBI, they've done their bit. And among, of course, some of the IT names, you have a Wipro which is pitched in. I see Tata Steel, Tata Motors DVR doing well, and of course Tata Power also contributing. Power Grid has done well, slightly defensive in nature. Grasim also holds out in trade. Among losers, some of the defensive names, the broader tone of profit taking has come in on the defensive, because those were the ones actually which in a downtrending market, in a crashing market, were able to withstand the pressure yesterday. So some bit of intraday profit taking there.
Yes, but some spikes that have come in into the broader end of the spectrum, Tanveer, again in the high beta pocket. So RCom, Delta Corp, Indiabulls Real Estate, Syntex, Kesoram, those are the ones that have moved up. And then there are two pockets which are distinctly standing out. One of them are the liquor companies. So United Spirits United Breweries, Global Spirits, I guess a Radico should also be up. I haven't quite looked it up, but I think that too should be doing okay for itself. 904 for a United Breweries doing well. Radico Khaitan 7%, Pink Corn Spirits, Tilak Nagar, I mean large, mid, small, everything has done well. And then the tire space. MRF is up, Sept is up, Balkrishna, TVS Shri Chakra, 15,100 for MRF, back to winning ways. I think the gains are quite strong. Kesoram kind of fits into that bracket as well. So to say JKTR up 4%, Kesoram 7.5%. So really good going for these stocks. Delta Corp back to winning ways. So doing rather okay for itself. There's a small story on IGL, how things may change a small bit, not in terms of gas availability, no impact thereof. A stock that has taken it on the chin today is Alchem Labs, US FDA issues, and a stock, it was very active and just come off a little bit. There is also Mandhana, which continues to drag lower, so not good going for that stock for the 7th day in a row. But are there winners? Yes, Dushman Pharma is a winner, really good going. There is now Bharat Ventures, which is up 10%, good going. Tata Communications is up about 10%, not bad going. Bodal Chemicals, Heikel. So I think some of these specialty chemical companies also have not done too bad for themselves. Vivimed Labs, 2 million shares traded, 110. Is something happening here? I think that the going is very, very good. Jay Thakkar, just before we thank you, any of the specialty chemical companies that stand out for you? Almost everything is doing well.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I think the kind of move we have been continuously seeing, in the entire sector. But I think, somewhere, some point of time, all of these stocks, look too overbought as of now, and I think the risk reward will not match quite much out here. So I would not like to recommend any stock as of now. But if we see any kind of decline, then we might just see that which of these stocks consolidate. As of now, I would like to avoid, as it seems too overbought.
Jay, thanks so much for joining in today and giving us your thoughts and your recommendations as well. Mayuresh, so there are these 2 or 3 pockets. We haven't discussed these. Tires or alcohol stocks, or for that matter specialty chemicals, the likes of Bodal or a Heikel or some of the slightly lesser known names which are starting to move up. Any of these pockets that you are bullish on?
So Neeraj, tire is something that I was bullish on a couple of quarters back, and again the sharp movement that we probably seen in lieu of what is expected to happen. Natural rubber prices are already down, but the expectations of what happens with anti-dumping, the new rubber policy, I think that is taking the stocks to a new trajectory. So I think I've always maintained stocks like MRF, Sept, TVS Chakra look good, but at these levels again valuations looking a little bit stretched for fresh investments. Similarly in the case of specialty chemicals, these stocks have done exceedingly well over the past few quarters, and for rightful reasons. I think what you've seen in China in terms of shutting down on facilities, in terms of what is happening with the environment out there, has clearly given impetus to all these stocks. So I think valuations again looking stretched, but investors holding on to stocks like Navin Fluorine, SRF should continue holding on. So clearly I think these stocks are looking overvalued at this point of time, but again from a business perspective I think the models still look very, very robust. So I think you can hold on to all these stocks if you're holding them at lower levels.
All right, Mayuresh, we'll let you go there. Thanks very much for taking out the time to speak with us today and share with us your investment ideas. Quick round with our technical guests. Kunal, how do you foresee trade in the coming week?
Well, I think the recovery in the second half was good, not just in